Journal entry 51, updates and wrongdoings. So much has happened, too much to write here, but in order to understand events in the future, I shall give a brief summary. We have moved camp, again and again and again, maybe 6 or 7 times since my last entry in this journal. We are now deep into Frostgorge. This camp is warmer than the last ones, but I still fear that I will never feel warm again, and tomorrow we will move camp again. I resigned from my position as assistant instructor. One of the last straws was recruit Blisk. He nagged and nagged like he always do until someone let him go outside of camp with Strong Shield and try his new explosives. I made him write a report about it afterwards, and naturally he did everything he could to avoid writing it. He even convinced Leora to do it for him. But as I wanted him to do it himself, and as Leora's knowledge of explosives only go as far as knowing they go boom, I made Blisk stay at the fort, while the rest of us headed out on patrol, telling him to have the report done when we got back. During the patrol, Saya wore my patience even thinner, loudly protesting to whatever I said. If I had said that snow was colder than molten rock, she would have found a way to object to that. She kept on and on during the whole patrol, so I was on the verge of losing it when we returned to the fort. I went up onto the battlements to calm down with Fredrickson by my side. Blisk approached me up there, wanting to show me his report. At the bottom, almost unreadable, he had written, "Is this good enough for you, Wullo?" Wullo? Apparently that is what they call me. I calmly asked him to read what he had written at the bottom. He refused. I told him to read it. He still refused. I ordered him to read it, and he replied that it was nothing important, and I lost it. Finally, my patience had come to an end. I shouted something about cutting him up and feeding him to wolves if he did not read it, but I do not remember exactly. Mist was up on the ramparts as well, and of course she came running to teach me a lesson. She never can resist an opportunity to make me feel worthless, so why would this be any different? I do not remember everything she said, but her last words I will never forget. Go and run off to Linda and cry, like you always do. Is that what she thinks I am doing when talking to the only one that understands me? And how does she know? Linda probably told her what I said. Now there is no one I can talk to, except Fredrickson, the only one who I can always trust, the one that is always there for me, when I need someone to talk to or just some company. What would I do without him? What would I be? We entered the dredge mines after that, and stayed there for some days, helping the Kodan fight back the moles. I stayed in the back, did my shifts as guard and the rest of my duties, but not much else. During an assault by the dredge, I told Zaya to take up position between the wooden palisades in the gateway, to prevent her from being surrounded. Both she and Lorma quickly started to argue with me, telling me to go back into my tent to sulk. The next day, Knight Elva ordered the same thing, and they immediately followed her orders, proving that both my strategy was valid and that they objected to it, just because they do not like me personally. That made my mind up. At the next camp, outside of the mines, I found Mist overlooking the camp from a tower. I approached her and requested to be relieved of my position as assistant instructor. She did not even have the decency to look at me when granting it. We started to exchange words. She said I was worthless. I told her she never ever asked for my version of what happened. She did not care. I wanted desperately just to go back to Divinity's Reach then, leave everything behind me and just go. But I did not. I stayed. But the Six knows that we are lost without our War Master. The next day, I lined up the recruits and told them that I had resigned from the position of their instructor. I told them that they were not soldiers but warriors, that they could not even manage to learn even the simplest of things, and more, and that I took full responsibility for that. Even at the time, Zaya refused to remain quiet and started objecting loudly. She proved to me right there that I had made the right decision. I hope the 6 guides their next instructor, because he will need it dearly. Then we moved to one of the Kodan ships. It was great. More than great. It is a floating city. We met some Norn Warmaster, that is to act as replacement for Alicia for the time being. Honestly, anything but Mist is welcome at this point. When lined up, she took a closer look at us, and clearly she had been briefed by Mist. "You are the first crusader that every recruit hates," was her words to me. The one thing that I am known for. Not my long service to the chapter, my commitment, my discipline in combat and clean service record, minus that warning. But that was unjust, and when Alicia returns I will make her take that away from my record. After the lineup I took Fredrickson and walked the ship to get away from the others and to spend some time alone. Zaya cornered me up on one of the 2 bows, and I could not escape. She wanted to tell me she wanted a fresh start, that the words of the War Master had touched her and made her realize she was wrong. I had tried so many times to reason with her, over and over and over again. Tried to make her see things from my point of view, as well as respecting her opinion. So far she only met that with contempt. Now a War Master comes along, says 2 sentences to her, and now she wants me to believe she has changed? People do not change that easily, but I will smile at her, talk to her, treat her with respect. But I know she is the same Zaya as before, and sooner or later she will show that to everyone. I will just have to wait. I have thought about Calder and Lorma, and now I have a plan. Lorma always seemed to want to be by herself, not disturbed by anyone. The knight wanted me to relax and be more friendly, and I will do just that. I will force my friendship on Lorma and it will drive her crazy. It almost did yesterday. She seems sick or tired, so I went to offer her some food or hot tea. Then I continued to speak with her. It ended with her running away from camp. Sooner or later she will step over the line, and when she does, everyone can say I was just trying to be her friend. I would like to see how she manages to avoid punishment then. Calder is a whole other story. I sat down next to them for a friendly chat and he seemed to enjoy the conversation. I did not include that in my plan, but maybe it is for the best. Maybe if I manage to be friends with Calder, I can drive a wedge between him and Lorma. Divide and conquer. We are to pack up and leave tomorrow, so I will take a bath in the nearby stream now. It is shallow and freezing cold, but I fear it will be a long time before I can wash again, and my stench would probably terrify Grenth himself. I will try to update more frequently if I can find the time. And if I survive.